I'm a student at Harvard.
MIT, Caltech,
Columbia.
Our advantage? Support at home, plus great teachers and programs at Orange County Public Schools. Check out what's available for your child.
There are magnet programs, advanced placement and honors classes, and guidance counselors who help us choose the right courses.
There are dual enrollment classes with Valencia College, so students can earn college credit while in high school.
OCPS has programs for every type of learner, pre-kindergarten through adult.
You won't believe what you can do through Orange County Public Schools.
For more information, visit the website at ocps.net or call 407-317-3200.
Good evening. On behalf of Chair Sublette, who could not be here this evening, and my fellow school board members, I'd like to welcome everyone to the Orange County School Board. And thank you for taking the time to join us as we celebrate some of our teachers, students, community members, and businesses that truly make Orange County Public Schools a special place for all of our children. Everyone being honored today has gone above and beyond what was expected of them. They saw a need and stepped in to fill it. They are truly the shining examples to the rest of our county's residents. Tonight, we want to keep tonight's program down to 1 hour. So in order to accomplish that, it is our policy not to stop for photographs. But certainly after the event, if you wish to take some, then that would certainly be fine. If you would like a DVD copy of today's program, you may contact our Public Relations Department or see Anna Alone after the program. And I think there's Anna over here, and she can help you get a DVD. And one more thing, I know we're all busy, but it would really be terrific if you could all stay to the end of the program. It is only 1 hour, and it would be distracting if we had people getting up and down throughout the program. So tonight, I would like to begin by inviting School Board Member Daryl Flynn to the podium. And it's my understanding that Mrs. Flynn is taking the place of Mrs. Cadle, as Mrs. Cadle is in Tallahassee this evening on official business in her role as president of the Florida School Boards Association. So Mrs. Flynn is filling in for her for the recognitions from District 1. The first group that we would like to recognize is a very special group of students and their sponsors. Thank you, Mrs. Flynn.
Thank you, Mrs. Moore. One of the reasons I was asked also to recognize this next group is because my son graduated from University High School and he was a wrestler. So I'd like to start off today's recognitions by introducing a very special group of young women from the University High School. And would Principal Mike Armbruster please come forward? Mr. Armbruster, I know you're as excited as you were during the Teacher of the Year banquet. Could you demonstrate that excitement for us right now, please?
Yeah!
Okay. So University High School School Board Member Joey Cadle isn't here, but I'm just delighted to be here in her place. So let's introduce these fine student athletes. Just last month, these 18 girls won the state championship title for girls wrestling. And ladies, would you join me up here as I brag about you a little bit? Come on up here and stand next to you and your coaches. Come on.
Y'all come on down. All right.
Now, I know when most people think of wrestling, you're thinking that it's a guy's sport, but as you can see, that is no longer true. These determined young ladies had a spectacular season leading up to the championships. They have won all but one of their meets. And one of the individual wrestlers, Kaylee Ojeda, where's Kaylee? Step forward a little bit. She placed first in her weight class, so let's give her a round. Now, what makes this even more impressive is that out of the 18 athletes on the team, only 6 had ever wrestled before. And if you know anything about wrestling, it's a very intricate sport. There's a lot of rules and regulations and a lot of technique that's involved. So let's introduce you to the team. As I call your name, please step forward. And we'll get those certificates passed out.
You can call it.
Brianna Arias, step forward, raise your hand. There you go. Macaria Clark. Crystal Gayon. And if I'm, you guys have some very, very unique names here on this team, so if I'm messing them up a little bit, please forgive me. Samantha Gomez. Anissa Gonzalez. Francesca Gonzalez Torres. Not here, okay. Estefany Jerez. Aliza Johnson. She's not here. Okay, good. Well, and I'm not good that she's not here, but you wouldn't hear me. She wouldn't hear me sort of mess up her name a little bit. Kaylee Ojeda again. There goes. Madeline Palmer. Shayla Proenza. Victoria Rios. Yaritza Salazar. Omera Sanchez. Renata Santis. Chelsea Smith. Elizabeth Villafane. Jabriha Hines. Alexandra Jennings. Fantastic. And we can't definitely forget their coaches who, in addition to their regular teaching duties, they've also dedicated themselves to guiding their student athletes to success. Let's give a round of applause for Coach Adriana Monge and Assistant Coach Krista Book. And do we have parents out there? 2 parents? Yeah, stand and give. Ladies, coaches, and Mr. Armbruster, we are very proud of your accomplishments, and we look forward to next year when University High School hosts the championships here in Orlando. We'd like to present you all, and you got that, your small token of recognition for this incredibly successful season, and just thank you for all that you do and your dedication to your studies and to your sport, and for really being what OCPS is all about. To the coaches and principal, thank you for this wonderful group of students here. Let's give them a round of applause.
University.
Oh, okay. Coach was a state champion at University.
Yeah.
That's all right. Thank you. Thank you, ladies. If you can take your seat now, we'll go on to the next recognition. Thank you.
Our next recognition is from District 2, so Mrs. Flynn will remain at the podium to tell us a very exciting partnership between the students at Little River, Home Depot, and Kiwanis. I think this is one of my favorite projects, isn't it, Mrs. Flynn?
It is.
I cannot wait to hear about it. Thank you.
Vice Chair Moore, thank you very much. Could everyone associated with the Little River Elementary Landscaping Project please come forward? And while they're coming up, I'll start. We talk a lot about our vision here at OCPS and on the board that we want to be the top producer of successful students in the nation. And our mission in gaining, oh, parents too. Parents, come on up. Come on up. You can stand behind your kids. And our mission to lead our students to be successful comes with the support and involvement of families and communities. So it always makes me very proud and excited and happy when I see the community and our business partners stand behind a school, and that's exactly what happened recently at Little River Elementary. Where's Mike Murray? Mike, come on down here too. Last year, Little River started its K-Kids Club, which is sponsored by Kiwanis International and specifically the East Orange County Kiwanis. And it works to teach young people and students about the importance of leadership through service. This year, the Little River K-Kids Club has about 20 members in grades 2 through 5. And they decided that they wanted this year's project to be a complete, well, not complete, they wanted to complete a campus beautification project. So you can see the pictures of, well, They had the wrong school up there right now. Okay, there we go. That's Little River. That's a before picture. So under the guidance of Principal Karen Bindus, raise your hand, the K-Kids Club sponsors Tracy Baggett and Raquel Contreras. I know I butchered that name too. They reached out to the community and found support from Dwayne Shope at the Home Depot on East Colonial Drive, and he, along with his co-worker Mark Dugat, stepped in to help. So Dwayne worked closely with Dale Seal from OCPS Grounds Department to come up with a complete landscaping plan, and together they chose a large variety of plants from the Home Depot store. So beyond that, though, then Dwayne asked Principal Bindus if he could repaint the large planters in front of the school, repair the sprinkler system, and repaint and repair the dolphin fountain. And he was determined to transform the front entrance. So on February 8th, that was the big day, Dwayne Shope and several other Home Depot team members arrived to help the students with the project. This transformation could not, of course, been possible without the help of a team of volunteers. And I would like to recognize some of them tonight. Of course, we have Principal Karen Bindus, and we're going to have our K-Kids Club sponsors. Every time you have a club at school, so many of you know, you have to have teachers that step forward too and put a lot of effort into guiding those clubs. So we have those teachers, Tracy Baggett and Raquel Contreras. Say it again, Contreras. And we have, of course, the Home Depot's Wayne Shope, and Mike Duquette, Dale Seal from OCPS Grounds Department, and Mike Murray from Kiwanis, who's sitting out there being shy, and parent volunteers, April Wright and her kids, Cindy Martin, Cindy didn't make it, Angela Castillo, Michelle Wiltsey, yes, right over here, and Sue and Ivan Freira Moreno. So, and I think that's, what I like about this is we have community, we have the teachers, we have the partners, and we have the parents. And it was a group project, Chairman Moore, that you would have loved, because do we have a picture of what it looked like afterwards, I hope? That was it. Okay, but you see them in action. That's the important part. So, okay. And kids, come on up here. Come on up here. I want to shake your hand. There you go. I have a special recognition certificate that you can take back and show the rest of your members. Okay, this is for the K-Kids Club. So you can take that back to your club, okay, and show that. So thank you for coming tonight. I want to thank everybody up here for your dedication to the students at Little River. It certainly means a world, it makes a world of difference. Together we can do it and make great things happen. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Mrs. Flynn. In this world of shrinking school budgets and unfunded mandates, our corporate partners are just so instrumental in helping us to maintain that level of quality education and facilities for our students. Mrs. Flynn, did you get out there with them that day? It is so exciting when they're...
I will next time.
No, next time. I have my one story of a beautification day where I brought my own clippers and I was out there working with the kids and I lost the clippers. The boys didn't bring it back. So I went back and took the pictures off my camera and realized I had their picture. So I emailed it to the teacher. And about 3 days later, there was a set of clippers in the front office with my name on them. So anyway. All right, School Board Member Roach is coming to the podium for our next recognition. It's always nice to see families working together, and tonight we have a very inspiring story that Mr. Roach would like to share with us.
Yes, before I do, thank you. Before I do, I would like to, I'd like to recognize a member of the audience as a former school board member, worked with me for a long time, Miss Susan Arkin. Would you please wave to the crowd over there, Susan? I probably remember Susan. She probably hates me for doing that, but but I think it's important to recognize people that served the district for many, many years, and I think Susan served for about 12 years, if I recall. Tonight, I have two recognitions. Are the Kriegers here? Kriegers, would you please come down? You know the routine here. Everybody come on down, and I'll tell you the story about Jeff and Sarah and Hannah. Jeff, where are you? Come on down here. And also, I'd like to have the principal and assistant principal of Cherokee School come on down. And I will tell you a short little story here. And here's something we know. Here's a given that everybody knows, is that parental involvement plays a very, very vital role with our school success. There's some schools that have very involved parents, and there's some that struggle. Then there are schools that serve special kids, very special kids with special needs, like Cherokee, where students have emotional and behavioral disabilities. Sometimes these schools feel like they're fighting an uphill battle. I recall years ago, I'll insert just a little story. I've been on the board for 15 years, and there was a time when I got lots of phone calls from the neighborhood right around Cherokee, very, very disturbed and sometimes aggravated parents on the school. I think there was a misunderstanding about Cherokee, and I recall that there was a little bit of angst in the community, and I want to tell you how that has changed. And so tonight, I want to recognize one family that made a big difference. They live directly across the street from the school. Jeff, Sarah, and Hannah Krieger have become ambassadors, if you will, for Cherokee School. Without being asked, they planned, developed, organized ways to make the students and staff at Cherokee feel appreciated and supported. I emailed Hannah, and I said, Hannah, how did this all start? Because I recall there were times when it was very negative in that area, and here's what she wrote. I hope it's okay. She says, Mr. Roach, I think the neighborhood's wariness of the school stemmed from a lack of knowledge. There was a stigma attached to the school that the children were menaces. However, I think through the community events I've organized, the feelings toward the school have changed to one more neighborly. Since being informed of the school's mission and the types of students that they attend there, the neighbors have accepted the school into the community and have since become more willing to help when asked. Hannah Krieger. And I think that's, the school sits right inside a very old Orlando community. Raise your hand if you've been to Cherokee School, you know where it is. Beautiful, beautiful historic building, full of very, very special kids and special teachers who work very hard. So this family, instead of criticizing, decided to embrace and adopt. And so here's some of the things they've done. The Kriegers have organized donations for the school's library. They've also collected donations of uniform items for the school's dress code. They began a monthly food truck event that's advertised, if you'd like to go, which is raising money. I stopped by and bought a couple of hot dogs and burritos and what have you. It's really cool how they just park right there in the school campus and the neighbors walk over. Hannah is Jeff and Sarah's daughter, and she has been instrumental in coordinating these events. During the holidays, she organized an angel tree so that every student received a gift from the school. Mom, Sarah Krieger, is an artist. I've been in their home at their chili cook-offs. It's an amazing, amazing place, who's dedicated several days to painting a mural in a classroom to provide a soothing atmosphere. She also provides breakfast to the school staff and a pot of chili on a cold day. Wouldn't be bad lately, would it? She also serves on Cherokee's School Advisory Committee, and perhaps one of the biggest contributions the Kriegers have made is the Community Chili Cook-Off, which my wife and I attended. It's in the backyard of their home and inside their home, and I'm just quite sure there were 150 people in the backyard. They had a live band, about 8 kinds of chili, and everybody donated to their favorite chili. You put $1 or $2 in the pot, and all that money went to the school, which was $1,100 worth of chili. So what I have here is not an example of a corporation that gave $100,000 to a school. I don't have an example of 1,000 volunteers at a school. I have an example of one neighbor that made a difference. And I think that's the critical message today. It's why I chose them as one of my honorees, to tell you what a difference one family can make. And I just can't tell you how impressed I am with them, and to be a friend and have you as one of my constituents. So would you please help me to honor these wonderful people? Secondly, it gives me great pride to present another group to you that I think are kind of the under the radar quiet heroes of our schools. And I am just proud to have been a part of this organization for about 13 years in Orange County Public Schools as I served in this particular role. But tonight I get to honor them because I felt like it was just a critical, very timely, important thing to do. So right now, if I can I have all the counselors who are here tonight come on down and line up just like everybody else did. Come on down. Come on down. Our school counselors. Lord only knows how many kids they have helped that they probably will never know about. That's the thing about a counselor. They never know who they've touched until maybe sometimes years down the road. But so I'll point out a couple of things to you. First of all, it's my honor, and I know she probably drives her crazy every time she's in the audience with me, but we have here a former National Elementary Counselor of the Year. It won that award several years ago. Barbara Berry, would you please? She's still with us. That's a heck of an honor. That's one. So I want to talk about a little bit about Sandy Hook has probably been mentioned thousands of times in the last few years, and I think when Sandy Hook happened, the tragedy there, a lot of the conversation in this country had to do with a lot of armed policemen on campus and a lot of school security to take care of those measures. And I think eventually, though, as it kind of unraveled and unfolded a little bit, we began to realize that really and truly it's prevention is where that really comes to a head. We need to prevent those kind of things from happening and making sure all kids get as many services as they possibly can so they can be mentally and emotionally healthy in our school systems. And who would know how many kids have been helped by counselors in this country that we'll never know that didn't do something like that. And so I just want to say a lot of gratitude to these people here. I want to tell you that some of the things that they do. They are the only persons on campus that have a master's degree in counseling. This is their contribution to the schools and why we hire them. Let me get my notes here straight. I want to tell you the wonderful things that they do. They help kids individually, one-on-one sessions to help them seek solutions to their own problems. If they can't solve their own problems, they'll help them, but the whole idea is to help kids solve their own problems. They help kids form small groups with kids with similar issues. For example, academic issues. I don't know if you knew that. They do a lot of tutoring, Saturday schools, after schools events. They do a lot of social skill development for kids that don't have friends, who don't know how to make friends, or kids that are running away their friends. They do a lot of grief counseling when tragedy hits. They do FCAT anxiety counseling. Did you know that? They lead classroom guidance sessions where they go in and they help the teacher with entire lessons on character building, character education, what to do after graduation. They also help victims of bullying. They even help the bully to be more helpful instead of more hurtful. These are the people that have the time to do that on campus. Without them, teachers and principals struggle to get to kids to help them with the very things that they need. So tonight is all about them. I think, and bottom line, I'll probably hate this, but I think they're kind of the Mr. Rogers and Aunt Bees of the campuses, is what they are. These are the good guys. These are the people who ride the white horses and wear the white hats, and it's a safe ground for kids. So tonight I want to talk, first of all, I want to honor all the counselors, but in particular the organization, the Orange County Guidance Association, and Laura Atkinson. Would you come over here, please? This is the president of Orange County Counselors. I'd like you She put on one heck of a show at the counselor breakfast recently. I think they must have had 250 people at their breakfast with guest speakers. Dr. Jar was present. It was a wonderful event. And then lastly, I want to introduce our most recent accomplishment here in Orange County Public Schools, is that one of a counselor who has won the Florida Elementary Counselor of the Year. She is at Palm Lake Elementary. One of Ms. Martin's greatest accomplishments is creating Kids Who Care, a student service learning group that serves in the school, in the community, and the world. Her students support a local nursing home, a local animal shelter, autism awareness, Relay for Life, and school beautification. The Florida Counselor of the Year, Linda Martin. Please help me recognize her. Counselors, I love you. I love the job you're doing. Keep it up. Keep up the good work, and we're all behind you. And we'll see you at the workshop soon.
No.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Roach. All right, next I'd like to ask School Board Member Pam Gould to come up and tell us about one group from the west side of town that has really made a tremendous contribution to the life of our children in West Orange County. Thank you.
Well, this is exciting because this is my first one, and it is so impressive to hear all of the contributions that are made. But before I get started on my bragging moment, I want to extend a thank you to Vice Chairman Moore for this past weekend, for the gift that you have given the community with the Jazz and Arts Festival. It was my first experience there, and it was absolutely incredible. Thank you for including all of the West Orange schools along with the ones the north of 50. Thank you so much. That was just a wonderful, wonderful experience. You know, I've been a resident of West Orange County now for a few years. I won't say how many, but I've always been impressed with the Chamber from the minute that I entered West Orange County, and really saw the impact that they were having in bringing our area together and really making it feel like a neighborhood, even though we're made up of many municipalities. It is truly the neighborhood and part of the fabric of the community that gives us a great place to live, work, and play. Last year, the Chamber, the West Orange Chamber, was named the 2012 Chamber of the Year by the Florida Association of Chamber Professionals. This is a very unique honor, but it is even more unique because it is the second consecutive time that they could qualify to be a Chamber of the Year in the state of Florida. So that is pretty amazing. The West Orange Chamber has been committed to the Orange County Public Schools through the Education Committee, through many of the programs they participate in, including teaching. They've provided scholarships to students for years. Stars, we have Chesta and Joe Hembrook here. And actually, I'd like you all to come up. I'm remiss in what I'm supposed to do. Please come up, my Chamber family. Sorry about that. I rushed right into it. Chesta and Joe are the founders of the Stars of West Orange that provide backpacks and supplies to thousands of children. Well, over the years, it's been thousands of elementary, middle, and high school students. But tonight, we're here to recognize the Chamber for the new program that is taking place next week. And this is also Chesta's brainchild. Have you heard of Pi Day? And I'm not talking about the kind you eat. This is the symbol pi, and they are doing this day in order to celebrate all of those that contribute through pi partnerships and encouraging that kind of cooperation and support of our schools from across the West Orange community. And Pi Day is going to be March 14th, and they are going to eat some pie at the same time. The Chamber's Education Committee decided to take advantage of Pi Day to do something special for OCPS school staff members who are liaisons between the school and the business community. They've invited all of the business community to come in as well, because I've gotten a reminder every week for the last 3 weeks. We call those businesses who are partners in our school partners in education. So every school has a PI coordinator. The West Orange Chamber is taking advantage of Pi Day by hosting an open house for the school Pi coordinators to recognize them for the work that they do. It is also a way the chamber members to learn about what they can do to support our students by partnering with nearby schools. And of course, they will be serving pie. So you're all welcome to stop by the West Orange Chamber and get a little slice. I would like to recognize the members that we have here. David Billsborough couldn't make it tonight, but he is the current chamber chairman and sent his well wishes. Rob Mafis, who is the co-chair of the Education Committee. Kelly Carney, who facilitates the chamber activities and works very hard to make these things happen. And of course, Joe and Chesta Hembrook, who came up with the Pi Day idea. I hope you'll accept these wonderful certificates as a token. And while you're receiving those, I have had this on my desk since I was at Health Central and started working with the school nurse program. And all of those that are being honored today really remind me of this, but I brought it down from my desk in order to read it in honor of you. This is a poem that has been out there. Many of you may have heard it. 100 years from now, it will not matter what my bank account was, the sort of house I lived in, or the kind of car I drove, but the world may be a different place because I was important in the life of a child. And you all exemplify that, as well as our other honorees tonight. And I cannot thank you, our Pi coordinators, and our community for coming together around our students. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Gould. I've had the opportunity to go to a STARS luncheon with Chesta, and the excitement and energy she brings to school supplies and backpacks is just really refreshing, and we sure appreciate your work, Chesta. You just certainly are definitely a star in West Orange County. Next, I'd like to ask to the podium School Board Member Kat Gordon, and she's going to introduce us to a group that has made a positive difference for the families at Eccleston Elementary. And Mrs. Gordon, that is one wonderful school. I'm so glad we got to join you a month or so ago for that very special day.
And we thank you for being there, I'll tell you, and we thank the entire board for your support of Eccleston. Thank each of you. We could not have done it without you. I'd like to ask Principal Tracy Webley and Mrs. Betty Chandler to please join me at this particular time. And I want you to just watch these ladies. There are many wonderful things happening in District 5 schools. One of the most exciting has been seeing our Eccleston Elementary go from a C grade to an A last year. These are goals that were set by the School Board of Orange County, the principal of the school, and you're going to meet some of the people that made it happen. We are so very proud of everyone that helped our students make this great achievement. I have invited a very special group of parents and grandparents to join us today because they truly realize that it takes a village to raise a successful child. In the midst of all of the turmoil that was going on between Richmond Heights and Eccleston, these are the parents and grandparents and children that stood strong with us. Parents of the Honor Society, will you please join us up front? I had never heard of a Parent Honor Society. And in my first endeavor to work with Darrell Flynn, to go on the east side to actually see what the schools look like, these were the brave parents that got on the bus with us as one of their assignments and and they were graded. And they had to give a report that went with me on the east side to visit Darrell Flynn and some of her beautiful schools, because this board wanted us to have the same thing that was on the east side that we can have in the central area. So give them another round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to the Eccleston Parent Honor Society. And believe it or not, this is not all of them. You could not get on the stage when they did the induction like the National Honor Society. The grandparents, and that was just a little too much for me to believe. I'm so proud of each and every one of you. Through the Parent Honor Society, parents and even grandparents are encouraged to become more involved at the school. And that was one of the main goals for School Board District 5, parent involvement. These parents and grandparents receive points for everything that they do on campus and for their student. The SAC committee, the PTA, attending conferences with teachers, participating in school events, checking progress book, and many other activities. Once the parent or grandparent receive 85 points, they are inducted into the Parent Honor Society. And if their student has an A or B on their own report card, that parent or grandparent receive what we call a Power Parent designation. This year at Eccleston, there are more than 200 parents and 47 grandparents participating in the Parent Honor Roll program. There is no doubt that this makes a huge difference in our student lives. Parents, now, I want you to know that we are proud of you. They now have a way to become more involved on Eccleston's campus. They are more aware of what their children are doing at school, and they are meeting other parents and getting to know each other. This parental involvement is very critical to our schools, receiving and maintaining their letter grade of A. I'd like to also acknowledge at this time my good friend from 1967 who trained me to be one of the top librarians in this county, Miss Betty Chandler, who is the community resource and parental involvement coordinator. Miss Felicia Goodman is not with us. She is the assistant principal that every time I'm at the school, she is there opening and closing that door. Miss Norma Beasley was honored for her work for another organization at Eccleston during Black History Month. She has also been very important to this particular program. As a good friend of mine and a 1967 neighbor, Dr. Clara Walters. She is not with us tonight. She's a retired administrator, but her son, Victor, is here to represent his mom. Thank you, Victor. I want to say thanks to all of you for helping our students succeed. And Ms. Anna, we thank you for presenting to Ms. Webley all of the certificates, because there are so many. We're not going to we're not going to call these names. But they were honored in February, but we really wanted them to be honored before the board tonight. So if you would give them a round of applause, I would love you for it. And I am so grateful. Thank you, Ms. Chandler, Ms. Webley, Dr. Walters, and to your assistant principal to let her know, Ms. Goodman, how much we love her, and Ms. Beasley. Please keep up the good work, and we are expecting nothing but the best for Eccleston. Go forward, and thank you. Let me shake everybody. You can give it to him next too. Since we can't pay you, get a hug.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Mrs. Gordon. Our next recognition tonight is from District 6, and that is why Mrs. Robinson is here to tell us a little bit about a group that saw a need and is so determined to find a long-term solution. Mrs. Robinson.
Thank you, Ms. Moore. The rebuilding of Evans High School was a big deal for the families of the Pine Hills area. Students who once felt left behind are now proud to attend school in a state-of-the-art facility. Evans High School also has an impressive support structure behind it. In partnership with UCF and the Children's Home Society of Florida, the new Evans campus is home to the Evans Community School, which operates year-round. The idea behind a community school is that it serves not just the students, but also their parents and the Pine Hills community as a whole. The school offers mental health services, adult education, enrichment activities, and serves as a hub for the entire community. And starting this fall, it will have medical services also. It's open after hours and on Saturdays. This concept caught the attention of someone who's very special to OCPS and the OCPS family, and that's former school board member Susan Arkin. Susan shared this information with an organization she is involved with, 100 Women Strong. The 100 Women Strong organization is committed to pooling resources and finding meaningful and long-term ways to support the community. They were fascinated by this community school concept at Evans and identified an area that had not yet been addressed: food security and nutrition, and how both were fundamental to school success and student success. While conducting research on ways to achieve long-term sustainable results, the group immediately began addressing the problem of student hunger. Fern Lefkowitz, a member of 100 Women Strong, used her expertise to set up a food pantry at Evans. Shelving was donated, and an affiliation was set up with the Second Harvest Food Bank to stock the shelves. The group recruited Rosen Hotels and Resorts, which provided meals for students who stayed after school for tutoring. To help even more students, the group provided 5 snack centers. These cabinets were donated and stocked by organizations with nutritious items like cereal, energy bars, and granola bars, nuts, raisins, and peanut butter and cheese crackers. Each of these centers provides 3,000 nutritious snacks per month for a total of 27,000 snacks per center per school year. And this is just a start. 100 Women Strong will begin new projects based on what they've learned from their research in the community. So at this time, I would love to invite down Fern Lefkowitz, Susan Arkin, and all the women that are here tonight representing 100 Women Strong, and the principal of Evans, Jenny Gibson-Link, to come down and thank you personally. And while they're making their way down, I'll talk about why it's so important to have those snack centers. Students at Evans, most of them get breakfast and lunch as part of their daily service for food, but they stay after school for lots of extracurricular activities, everything from band and cheerleading and sports and clubs. And they were hungry then too. And we, on several occasions, had to call because children were passing out, and we had to call 911. And so these ladies saw the need, and we now have snacks, and the students can eat whenever they feel the need to have food. They have snack centers, so thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Robinson. Our final recognition is very close to my heart. Many of you know that I'm very committed to preserving the arts and arts education in Orange County Public Schools. And as a school member, we've had the opportunity firsthand to see so much talent. It's just incredibly inspiring. Several years ago, Dr. Kathy Pope and I wanted to share that talent with the rest of the community in Apopka. And in February 2009, we held the inaugural Apopka Arts and Jazz Festival. We started modestly with 18 schools, and that was the first year with no elementary children, just the middle and the high school, and we highlighted their music, art, and drama programs. That idea has grown and blossomed, and just last weekend we were honored to host the 4th annual Arts and Jazz Festival at the Apopka Amphitheater, and boy, have we grown. This year we had 31 schools from Apopka, Coy, Wekiva, West Orange, and there were 1,200 performers and over 1,000 students who had prepared artwork for display. It takes a lot of time and effort to put on an event of this magnitude. In fact, one of the music teachers wrote me a thank you email and called it a behemoth. And if you go out to the amphitheater, I think if we were in any other setting, we would have thought it was a behemoth, but that facility is so large, we're still like the sand in the sea. But it takes a lot of time, and I thought tonight, since we're about 2 days after the event, it'd be appropriate to thank those who really made this event become a reality. And first, I have our sponsors, and I'd like them to come forward. That is Lisa Willis from CenturyLink. We have Alan Morrison from Waste Management, and I think Shannon Gravitt is not here from Mears Transportation. Thank you. I don't know what we would do without you, because with your help, we're really able to underwrite all the expenses. And so when the schools sell their tickets, thanks to you all, 100% of that money stays right in the school. So we appreciate it. I'll give you. Jason wrote the script for me today, but he gave me lots of places to ad lib. And after a big event, you know, sometimes you have nightmares or you relive things. We had a little bit of wind, just a little on Saturday. Remember how cold it was? That's when we were out there. And so I had this dream, Alan, and your garbage trucks were in my dream. And I thought, maybe next year we could get Alan to clean up about 12 of them and provide us a wind barrier. And I thought, that's just a silly dream. And Alan told me, well, maybe we could arrange that. We'll work that out. All right, thank you. Thank you so much. Next, when you put on an event of this size, you just absolutely cannot do it alone, and I'd like to recognize the 2 area superintendents, and they are new to these areas and had to learn this event from scratch, and it's Dr. William Gordon and Dr. Bridget Williams. If you'd come forward, please. Not only did they spend hours and hours of work, they actually bought me some flowers. Isn't that sweet? Thank you. Dr. Williams did what I thought was the impossible. With all the Title I schools we have, she figured out a way to get all the children bused and their parents and families to attend. And we had, what was it, 17 buses to come to that amphitheater on Saturday. And never did I hear a child complain that they were cold. It was just amazing. And Dr. Gordon, you had the honor of working with all the rental and with the city of Apopka and working with the police, and that was quite a job, so thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
You got something you want to say? Oh, you want to wait till the end? Okay, we're going to start. Why don't you 2 stay for just a second? And then the final honoree for the Jazz Festival is someone who I've known literally my entire life. And I realized how special she was when her computer broke down a few weeks ago. And she was on the phone talking to the technicians and and they asked her, well, what kinds of things do you do? Well, I do my daughter's treasury. I have to work on the jazz festival. And she went and on, and none of the tasks were anything to do with her. It was just me. So I thought it was probably appropriate to honor her. She has been with us all 4 years at the Jazz Festival and handles all of the vendor activities for me the day. And that's my mother, Carol Wettmiller. Yes, I shouldn't have said final, and then, because really we had a group of about 12 who made this event go so smoothly. And next is our fine arts team, and that's Scott Evans and Brian Helke and Ashley Sherman. Why don't you come on down? My funny story about Ashley is she got called into jury duty this year. And, really, they do all this above and beyond their normal duties to coordinate all the art and music teachers in Orange County. And so I would see her after a late board meeting back down here working till 10 o'clock at night. And the look on her face, you had the rough job Saturday because the wind was so bad. The art was just blowing everywhere. And I have to see all these poor art teachers had worked for months with the children and trying to keep it there in the wind. It was devastating for you probably at times after all that hard work, but I think I'm still hearing that they had a good time in spite of it all.
We're all going to do kites next year.
Did you hear she said kites next year? Yeah, they'll probably fly to Georgia. And of course, Scott, the program, we were ahead a minute or two, and then we might be behind a minute or two. There were 40-some groups. And we were never off more than a minute or two all day, thanks to your organization. It was absolutely miraculous. And then, of course, we had the jazz stands, and he came, they were all up in my office and said, let me take these because I'm worried about the wind. And so you were prognosticating, I think. And so he had to show me you're an architectural engineer, so he had a dowel going across these sack stands, and was it a 10-pound bag of wind? 20-pound bag. It was about the only thing we didn't chase after in the wind. So I want to thank you so much because we just couldn't have done this event without you, and it was very special. And we look forward to next year if we can get the weather to cooperate a little bit better. So thank you so much. Did you want to say something? Okay.
If I may just mention something very briefly, we neglected to give Ms. Moore a gift from the arts and festival team at the event. As she mentioned, I think by the end of the day it was 11 degrees, and so we were all glad to run out of there, but we wanted to make sure she received this. So thank you, Ms. Moore, for your efforts too.
This was our festival poster, and it was designed by Elizabeth Roberts, a student from Wekiva High School, and on the day all the students would come out and sign these posters and keep them to remember their day's activity. So thank you all so much. This ends our program for this evening, and we just want to thank all of you so much for your contributions to Orange County Public Schools, and have a wonderful evening.
Here's a question for every parent out there. If you could fast forward 20 years to see how your kid's doing in life, would you do it? Well, we can't time travel yet, but we can see the future better with the new Common Core state standards in our schools. They set clear goals for every stage of learning, and they're the same for everyone no matter what zip code you're in. So you can be sure your student is really grasping what she needs to know to get to graduation and beyond. Find out how it all works at commoncoreworks.org.